Today I'm going to show you around one of my very favorite suburbs, Bloomington, Minnesota. Bloomington has a population of almost 90,000 and it's Minnesota's fourth largest city. Bloomington is one of my favorite suburbs because it's just really pretty and there's a lot of lakes and reserves to walk around. It has pretty much any convenience that you need and it's close enough to the city so you don't feel like you're too far away from the action. Bloomington's northern border runs along 494. The eastern and southern border run along the Minnesota River, and the western border runs along Highway 169. And 35W splits it into east and west Bloomington. The Mall of America is in East Bloomington, and I'm sure you already know what that is, but if you don't, it's a massive mall with 520 stores. It has an indoor amusement park called Nickelodeon Universe and Legoland. I think the mall is cool if you've never been there before, but I wouldn't say that it's like the go-to shopping center for all Minnesotans. You can yell at me in the comments if you disagree, but personally, I dread going there unless I'm going there for the rides. The Mall of America is probably the main reason that Bloomington has more jobs per capita than St. Paul and Minneapolis. And it's also home to several large companies like Health Partners, Toro, and a few others. If you work in the service industry, and I mean like bartending and serving, you don't think you're gonna have a hard time finding a job because there's a lot of like hotels and restaurants in the Mall of America area. But if you prefer to work in Minneapolis, I would myself, the commute really isn't that bad unless you're going through rush hour. The best part about Bloomington, in my opinion, is the proximity to the city, but mostly the landscape. It's really beautiful there, and it's extra beautiful in the fall. Bloomington has an extensive park system, and like almost a third of Bloomington is reserved parkland. I just moved to Bloomington a couple of years ago, and before I did, I really didn't know about all the parks and trails that they had, and I would usually just stay around Minneapolis, but there are so many, and they're all really cute. Normandale Lake Park, 9 Mile Creek, Highland Lake Park Reserve, and Marsh Lake Park are just a few. My friends and I like to go kayaking or canoeing down the Minnesota River. It's slow as shit, but if you just want to grab a cooler with some drinks and some snacks, you can just relax in the boat and lay in the sun. Of course, you need to take 2 cars so you can park one where you want to get off, but just make sure that you don't accidentally park upstream, because my friends and I did that once, and we had to like repark all the cars, and it was a huge pain in the ass. If schools are important to you, Niche.com gave Bloomington Public Schools an overall grade of B, but they gave Jefferson High School an A- and Kennedy High School a B. I do recommend checking out the Niche.com website for yourself because it's graded on certain categories, and some of those categories might be more important to you than others. I normally don't mention colleges in my videos, but if you're interested, Bloomington is home to Normandale Community College. I went to Normandale Community College and I loved it there. My major was psychology, and they have a ton of really interesting classes like psychology of death and dying and psychology of religion and spirituality, and a ton of other really interesting ones. Most of the homes in Bloomington were built between 1950 and 1990, and there is a wide range of homes from modest to luxury. West Bloomington is more likely to have newer and luxury homes, and it's also more likely to have homes that are more spread out in wooded areas that provide more privacy. You're more likely to find a lot of ramblers, one-stories in east or central Bloomington. The median home price in West Bloomington is $370,000, and the median home price in East Bloomington is $325,000. But West Bloomington is still close to the Twin Cities median of $365,000. I would say that you should expect to pay in the low to mid 300s to get a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom that isn't updated, but I have seen some homes that sold for under $300,000 in the last year. Before I move on to the reviews, if you are planning on making a move to the Twin Cities, get a hold of me. I would love to help you find a place to call home here, and all my information is in the description box below, and you can even feel free to creep on me on social media if you want. All right, now for some reviews. One current resident says, down-to-earth attitudes, close to everything without having to deal with the city. I'd buy a house here. Another current resident says, I like Bloomington. I wish there were more stores and things to do. I often find no variety for food, and I have to go to neighboring cities to get good and different types of food. I do feel that. I love living in Bloomington. There are so many trails around the area I live, and I love going for walks surrounded by trees and such beautiful gardens. I really recommend this neighborhood. It feels so homey, but so close to bigger stores and easy access to everything you need. All right, pros and cons of Bloomington. One con is that the main highways going through Bloomington are 494 and 35W, and 494 sucks all the time. If you can avoid taking 494, I always do. I will go out of my way to go around 494 or whatever I have to do in order to avoid it. Maybe other people don't have the same experience that I do, but truly, I really hate Highway 494. Another con I would mention that a current resident mentioned as well is that there isn't a huge variety of restaurants. Sure, there is the Mall of America, but sometimes you don't always want to go into the mall in order to go to a restaurant. I will say that Hazelwood's and Chai Bella are really good, but I usually find myself going to Minneapolis to find a better variety of food. If you like chain restaurants, then you can scratch that. There are plenty of those there. Another potential con is that there may not be as many community events in Bloomington as there are in other suburbs or neighborhoods. But still, some residents say that they feel a great sense of community in Bloomington, while others say that that's something that Bloomington is lacking. As for pros, one of them is that Bloomington has a lot of conveniences. There are plenty of grocery stores, there's a Target, there's a Mall of America if you want to go over there, and anything that it doesn't have, you're going to find really close in the neighboring suburbs. Another pro, and one I mentioned earlier in the video, is just that it's really beautiful. I never get bored around here if I feel like going on a walk or going on a hike, so there's so many places to check out. My personal favorite is Normandale Lake Park because it's just a quick loop trail, and I just prefer loop trails so I don't have to backtrack, but it's a loop trail, and in the middle there's a cute little mini waterfall there, and I love it. I also like Normandale Lake Park because it's surrounded by a bunch of tall buildings, and I don't know, I just really like that look of the city next to really beautiful landscape. I like Bloomington because you're still in the suburbs. You don't have to be in the city and all up in the action, but you're still close enough to it. I mean, me for example, I just jump on 35W and I'm in South Minneapolis in less 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Downtown's 20 minutes. It's nice to be right outside of the city, but not feel like you're too far away. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Bloomington. And be sure to subscribe if you want to learn more about different suburbs and neighborhoods in the Twin Cities. Have a good day.